Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm here in my garden in Las Vegas, and I'm going to introduce you guys to my new piece of equipment. I've been digging all this up and everything, all by hand, just using a pickaxe and a hoe and stuff like that. And that's how I've been weeding it all. It's kind of been a pain in the butt, and now I'm going to get serious and put some good soil in here and start to develop it. So this is a new toy I bought. I haven't even taken it out of here yet. I actually ordered, or I had bought another one prior to this one, and it ended up being too big. I wasn't able to get through my rows between the trees and the strawberries and stuff. So I went with a 4-cycle engine, so I didn't have to worry about mixing the oil and all that stuff. And plus, I already have a couple pieces of equipment that have the Honda engine. They start up all the time with no problem. So hopefully this makes this whole process easier. I'll go ahead and get the oil in it, get some fuel in there, and then we're going to start tilling through here and get the soil ready to start planting some stuff. So we'll see you guys shortly. I got gas in this thing and got the oil in there. I came through here real quickly. Now we're going to go ahead and break everything up. Some of the stuff really hasn't been dug up by hand or anything. So we're going to go ahead and till this up, get some of the weeds out of here on the rocks. And then we're going to go ahead and go over to all the supplies that I bought so you guys can see what I'm going to add to the soil to amend it and make it more fertile. Basically all I have here is sand. So wherever I planted trees or any of these bushes and strawberries, I had already added some soil. But I'm going to add stuff throughout this whole flower bed. So I'll go ahead and run it through here. You guys can see how it runs, and then I'll meet you over at the supplies. So you guys can see I was dragging it backwards. If you look on YouTube and read a lot of the reviews, that people are doing it wrong. They're trying to run the thing forward. That actually isn't doing a whole lot. That's why it's like bouncing around. They can't get it to move. This thing has no kind of drive on it. It's just the tine spinning. So you need to get it forward and then just drag it back. And that's what tills it up. So anyways, let's go ahead and go over to the supplies and I'll show you what we are going to put in. So I bought a bunch of this peat moss. All of our soil here in the desert is really alkaline. So I'm going to add a bunch of peat moss that'll help make it a little bit more acidic, which is what the plants like. They like a pH between like 5.5 to maybe 7, 5.5 to 6.5, somewhere around there. This is also going to help with absorbing some of that water because our soil is so sandy and so rocky that all the water, when we water it, just goes right through there. So this here, I'm going to go ahead and put a bunch of steer manure in there. This is going to help increase the fertility, add some beneficial bacteria to it, to the soil. So I got 6 bags of this and 3 more cubic feet of the smaller bags over there. So I try to use all organic stuff if I can. I like the stuff that's listed as OMRI, which is Organic Materials, what's it stand for? Review Institute. So I don't like to use any artificial pesticides or things like that. There's another way that I could go ahead and make the soil more acidic, which is by adding soil sulfur. But I'm going to try to avoid doing that and see how I can adjust the pH just by adding the peat moss. So we already discussed the steer manure. This is also organic, and I prefer to use some stuff. My mother-in-law has a small ranch, and I could get some of the stuff from her, but it's not composted yet. So it would take me, 30 to 90 days to let that break down, because you don't want to be putting raw manure anywhere you're going to be planting vegetables or anything like that. So the other thing we're going to be, I got 8 bags of this here. It's just soil. It's going to put a bunch of nutrients and stuff in there. And I'm going to continue to compost. We already compost all of our fruits and vegetables. Obviously we don't put anything like any meat or dairy products or anything like that in there. So we're going to go ahead and run through there a few times with the tiller, break everything up. The kids are going to grab all the rocks and weeds. We already have a terrible problem with crabgrass. So we'll get as much of that as we can out of there. And then we're going to start spreading this out evenly through there and work on getting the soil more fertile. So we'll see you guys soon. Buddy, so it's the next day. I got everything tilled initially, got everything softened up and got a lot of rocks out of here. And got all the manure and everything dumped out. I started tilling it last night, but it was too dark. I couldn't see what I was doing. So I don't want to bust out the spotlights. So we're gonna go ahead and get this tilled in, and we'll be back here in a minute. Hey everybody, so I've got everything tilled out. We had to go and get more manure, and we also added a bunch more garden soil, that Kellogg's garden soil that I showed you guys. And now that everything's softened up, I watered it. It actually took me a day or two longer than I had planned on, just because of work and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and put some vermiculite in here. Our soil is kind of unusual. It's really, it's sandy, but it has a lot of clay in it. It's more like a silt. So the water doesn't penetrate through it very good. This is gonna split up some of that silt and also help maintain some of the moisture. The peat moss that we put in there is gonna do most of that moisture maintenance, or maintaining it. But this vermiculite's gonna help, so I'll just sprinkle that throughout here. If you look down here, I'm gonna go ahead and cover it up down there and not use that until springtime, just until I get used to how this is gonna go. And then the area down here is the part that I'm going to use. So we're going to put the vermiculite in there, spread that out. The vermiculite's real cheap. It's only like 30 bucks for that huge bag. The blood mill here, this is going to add some nitrogen to the soil. Basically our soil has nothing in it whatsoever. So we're going to put this in. It says on here to add 3.5 pounds per 100 square foot. So I'll just reach in there, sprinkle that all about. And then make sure if you have any animals or anything, this will draw in coyotes or dogs or anything like that, because it's basically cow blood. So this Dr. Q's is all organic, which is important to us, so that's what we're using for that. Then this soil sulfur, again, this is going to help lower the pH of our soil. Our soil is highly alkaline, so by putting this in there, that's going to help. And a lot of your plants require sulfur to grow, from what I understand and what I've read. So this is going to help provide some of that nutrition that the plants need. So, and then gypsum. This is also going to help break up the soil a little bit, and it's going to provide calcium into the soil. If you're getting like root or blossom end rot on any of your squash, or we've been getting it a little bit on our watermelons, this is going to help alleviate that, because it provides calcium, and I guess that's important to the plants. Another thing that I forgot to bring over here is actually azomite, which is trace minerals, and maybe I'll get that over here and show you guys. So, but we're going to add all of these in here, just sprinkle them in. The soil, as it begins to develop over the next year or two, is going to get better and better. This is as bad as it's going to get. Hopefully we add more and more compost and more organic matter, and it'll grow better fruits and vegetables. So we'll go ahead and get started. Just go ahead and, I don't think any of these things are very precise, so I don't think it matters too much how much you add, as long as you don't get too carried away. After we get all this in here, I'm going to go ahead and till it in, so it doesn't matter too much. We'll just do these two areas for right now. After I get it mixed in a little, I'll have a better idea of how that looks. Alright, there we go. This stuff here, I think it said, let me look on here, 1 to 2 pounds per 100 feet, so you don't need too much of that. And this sulfur takes a while to break down, so you want to get it in there as soon as possible so that it can, it's kind of like a slow time release type of deal. And your plants do need it, so you want to get it in there. Alright, this blood mill. Alright, so I'll just finish doing this and I'll go grab the azomite and then show you guys what that looks like. Back, I went and grabbed the azomite. Basically what this is, azomite stands for A to Z of minerals and trace elements. You can see here there's two different kinds of azomite. This one here is the granulated one. So it's a little bit more time, slow release. And then there's also one that's more of a powder. That's actually how they mine it, I guess. And then they use some kind of material, I guess it's a byproduct of the paper industry, to hold it together. I think it's called lectin or something like that. Anyway, you're not going to put too much of this stuff. All it is trace minerals. I'm not sure if it does a whole lot, but I've read a lot and people say that it's really helped their plants. Just like maybe a week ago, I put it all, maybe 2 weeks ago, along all these strawberries, and they really came alive and greened up on me, so I think it's doing something. But we'll just throw this all over the place. It's not going to burn any of your plants. It's just going to provide the trace minerals and elements that they need. So I'm going to put this whole bag throughout here and lay down the rest of that vermiculite, this gypsum, get it all in here, and then I'm going to till it up, and then we'll make one more video just showing you guys what the finished product looks like. And so here's the finished product. I ended up having to add a lot more amendments to the soil to get it into this kind of condition. I used a lot more of that Kellogg's Garden soil, a lot more gypsum, a lot more of just pretty much everything. So it's pretty soft now, a lot more organic matter in here. So, and that smells good. So this all continue to break down. You still see a lot of uncomposted material. This all end up breaking down over the next couple months, especially as we start to get worms in here. All this stuff wasn't really staying moist before. We had a good rain and helped get everything really wet, and I got the sprinkler line going back in here. So I'll post down in the description, you can see how much of each thing each amendment I had to put in here. So, and I also learned something. I thought the soil was sandy before, but really what it was is more of a clay based, like a silt. So it would just stick together. Once I started adding vermiculite, and once I added that the vermiculite and the gypsum, it started to be able to separate easily. So, and the more compost and organic matter that I put in here, the healthier it'll get. So anyways, this is a finished product, and I'll be getting some stuff planted in here in the next couple days or maybe the next week. So we'll see you guys later.